Aesop's Fable by Miles Kelly, The Frog and the Ox. Once upon a time, there was a young frog who was sitting with his father by the side of the pool. The pool was shady and cool, and the frogs were sitting happily among some rocks. They watched for passing flies, minding their own business and chatting to them to pass the time. "Oh, father," said the little frog, "I have seen such a terrible monster. It was as big as a mountain, with horns on its head and a long tail, and its hooves divided in two." "Hush, child, hush," said the father frog. "That was only Farmer White's ox. It isn't so big either. It may be a little bit taller than I, but I could easily make myself quite as broad. Just you see." With that, the frog blew himself out and blew himself out and blew himself out. "Was he as big as that?" he asked. The young frog looked and thought for a second. "Oh, much bigger than that," he said, shrugging his shoulders. Again, the father frog blew himself out and blew himself out and blew himself out. And then he asked his son if the ox was as big as that. And the little frog looked and thought for a minute. "Bigger, father, bigger," he replied, shaking his head. So the father frog took a deep breath and blew himself out and blew himself out and blew himself out. And he swelled and he swelled and he swelled. And then he said, "I'm sure the ox is not as big as," and at that very minute, all the breath whooshed out of him and he flew away, zipping around like a balloon. "Wow," said the little frog, "the ox was big, but he couldn't do that." The moral of the story is, pride comes before the fall.